Hi good people, karibuni sana to another video. My name is Marion Ndung'u. It hasn't changed. I am here, happy, blessed. I love each and every one of you. If it is your first time to find yourself here, karibu sana. You know, we have been waiting for you. And we have a question. And I picked this somewhere. Where have you been all this time? Because we've been here. We have been doing content, we have been enjoying ourselves, we have been learning, we have been unlearning, we have been relearning. So I hope that you will catch up with us. Today, I want us to do another video. This one is gonna be an absolute mind-changing video. So today we are talking about step parents. Step what? Step parents. Okay? Let's get to that video because we need to have this conversation. Sahi. I'm gonna ask you a question. Who do you think a step parent is? A step parent is someone who steps in the role of a mother or a father because they are married to your mother or father. So for example, if you are having a stepmother, it means that there is a woman that is not your biological mother that got married to your father. Probably if your that got married to your father, probably if your mother died, for instance, or they divorced. So she's stepping in because she is having a sexual intimate relationship with your father. So because she is seeing your father or your mother, then they get the title the step. They step in the place of your biological parents. Okay, so when we are talking about step parents, we are not talking about guardians. Guardians are different altogether. So please, when we are having this conversation, if you have been raised by an auntie who was having issues with you, that is not a step parent. I hope that is clear. And I'm doing this video because when I was starting out kitambo to create content, I did a very small short video concerning step parents and it got very good feedback. I did very little, but then I thought about it. We need to talk about these things because the entertainment scene, when you're watching a movie, every other time they're making the step parents look evil. So a lot of us, we're even afraid of being step parents. We don't want step parents. When you think about marrying someone who has children, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to deal with very either undisciplined children or whatever it is. Or if you are the child receiving the step parent, you're like, oh my god, this one is gonna be a witch. If it is a father, you're like, this stepfather is gonna beat me black and blue. So you are expecting them to be negative towards you, and I think that is the problem because both sides, the children and even the parent who is coming in, both of them are expecting hostility, and that is why this institution is not working. I will start by saying this. If you have watched that video, I talked about how I had a step parent, and before my dad came into the picture, I was very scared, I was very skeptical, and at first I wasn't very open emotionally towards him. So there was a bit of me that was very hesitant to accept him as a father and also to call him a father, because number one, my father was not dead. My biological father was not dead. I knew him, and as much as I was little, there was those childhood memories of like my father. So when my now stepfather was introduced, I think around class 7, I was so skeptical. I was so like reluctant to call him father. I started calling him uncle because I felt like he doesn't need that title. Kwani, why am I calling him father? And it was a very weird relationship for a while until I decided to open myself up. What I did not know is that my father, my stepfather that is, was a blessing in disguise. That man has educated me. He has done so much for me. He has counseled me. I think if I look back, I appreciate him 101. And I know that when we are having conversation, most of us don't talk about fathers, but for me, I am proud of my stepfather because he's one of the reasons why I am the girl I am today, including God and other factors. So I'm going to talk about some common challenges that this parents experience. Because when you're coming in as a step parent, you're also coming into a world of something different altogether. You know, you are probably a single girl or single brother who is getting into a relationship with someone that you love, and this person is coming into the relationship with a bundle of joy, a blessing, you know, a child, one or two, or even more than two. And now you're wondering, I am just marrying you, but not only am I marrying you, I'm also having to take care of kids. So I'm coming into a relationship with responsibilities. So the first thing that will be there as a challenge is that there are loyalty conflicts. And these loyalty conflicts, children may be torn between their biological parents and step parents, leading to feeling of guilt and divided loyalty. I've told you guys, because I knew I had a father, even calling my stepfather a father was an issue, because I felt like, seriously, I felt like my loyalties to my father, my biological father, were being broken. So I really relate to this. And what helped me to overcome is also knowing that, by the way, this is not my fault. And me calling him father didn't mean that my biological father did not exist or should not exist. It just meant that I am giving him the respect he deserves. Plus, he was stepping into that role of fathering me. So by me allowing him to be a father, I gave him also the ability, and I made it easy for him to correct, to reproach, you know, to direct, and all the other things, and also provide, because of course he was stepping into those shoes. And it also gave me confidence to go to him every time there was need as a child. Okay, the other thing is adjusting to new roles. Remember, step parents may struggle to find their place in the family, balancing authority and nurturing without overstepping their boundaries. They know, I'm sure, as a child, or as a person that is experiencing step parents, they know that they are not your parent. So sometimes even giving you what are these punishments, even nurturing you, comes also with that place of, I don't want to overstep, especially if the step parent who is now especially if the step parent knows that the biological parent is present, and if the family is maybe going through co-parenting, because that means that once in a while the child will go to their mother. If I am acting as a stepmother, they will go to their mother. So I feel like the mother should maybe do whatever they need to do, and when they come to this house, they have a father. So you see, as a stepmother, you find that you are lost in between, because you're like, now how do I balance my authority here? I am this child's step parent, and maybe, for example, I notice that there's a problem. How do I deal with that issue? Are you a stepmother? Are you a stepfather? Have you dealt with such issues where you feel like you're overstepping your boundaries? How did you deal with that? Yeah, kindly help us so that we will know. Yeah, and so that someone who is watching, who probably is a step parent or is entering into step parenthood, can know how to do this. Okay, the other thing is communication issues. Open and honest communication can be difficult, especially if there are unresolved feelings from previous relationships. The people who are relating, but also for the children. If there is unresolved issues, sometimes unapata conversations zingine zinakuwa very hard to talk about, because you don't want to step into those closets, because you don't want to unpack whatever it is that is packed. So inakuwa very hard to have open and honest communication. It is what it is. So these unresolved feelings, I think at some point need to be resolved, so that all of you can have a beautiful family. Okay, the other thing is discipline disagreements. Differing parenting styles between biological parents and step parents can lead to conflict over discipline and rules. The other thing is jealousy and rivalry. Sibling rivalry can be heightened in blended families, especially if children feel they are competing for attention or affection. Yeah, and that actually heightens a lot of conflict, and if not well discussed and dealt with, it can be a very big issue that will cause that family not to enjoy even the fact that they are a big family, and it brings a lot of issue. The other thing is coping with loss. Children may still be grieving the loss of their original family structure, which can manifest in various emotional challenges. I am talking to step parents here. If you're a step parent and you realize that the stepchildren are not quickly to accept you, don't think that they have an issue with you. There was what they were used to. For example, their biological mother and father were a unit, and they were the only children, and they had a way of how that family was run. So right now, the biological mother and father are not together, and then you come in. Either you come in as a stepfather or you come in as a stepmom. The children will automatically have emotional challenges of dealing with your presence in their lives. Number one, they will sometimes maybe consider you as the reason why their parents probably broke up, and sometimes step parents are the cause of that, and they now don't know how to relate with you. We have talked about they feel like their loyalty is being like they are being disloyal to their biological parents when they start maybe loving you or having a relationship with you, and so many other emotional challenges that are just there. So don't be so quick to hate on them, don't be so hard on them, don't think that they have anything against you. I know that they might have, but don't automatically think that. And because, by the way, when you're stepping in as a step parent, remember you're the mature one. So whether the child is 30, you have to act like the mature one, because if you are the one who went to date their father who is 70, then you as the 45 or 25-year-old need to mature up to the level of the 75-year-old that you went to go with. Because guess what, this child still has emotional challenges that they need to unpack. They need to actually understand, why are my parents not together? And then, why did my father choose you to come in and replace either my mom or my dad? Okay? Yeah. So don't be so quick as a step parent to hate these children. Love on them, give them time, let them adjust, and also don't be mean. Yeah, don't be too mean on them, Mati, because they are not your children. Financial strain. Blended families may face financial challenges, including child support obligations and the costs associated with raising children from different households. And this is where we all need to come to terms with the fact that it can be equal, and whichever side of the spectrum you are in, then you need to know how to deal with it. The other challenge that comes in with step parenting is navigating relationship with ex-partners. Remember, maintaining a healthy relationship with ex-partners can be complicated, especially when co-parenting is involved. It is different when we dated, we had a child, we went our separate ways, we don't talk. So whoever went with whichever child, they are sorting themselves out, and that is that. What the child knows is probably you're there. If it is possible, they talk to you or they don't, and that is that. But then there's this one where, as a parent and that other parent, our relationship did not work. We were partners at some point, and then probably things didn't go well, or probably we got married and the marriage was not working. We decided to divorce and we all went our separate ways, but we decided to co-parent so that the child can have both of us present. That is different. So you can imagine, as an ex that probably was burnt by this partner of yours, yet you have to try and maintain a healthy relationship for the sake of the children, which can be hard, because at the end of the day, as much as you are the parent, you're also having emotional challenges of your own, and you need to unpack that, and it can be very hard. And then the worst part is, especially if the ex-parent sometimes has to come to either pick or drop the child, and you have to interact, and now there's another person who has been introduced. Either in your end it's the man, and in this end is the woman, and them that have been introduced in our co-parenting are also having issues, because they're like, maybe they think when we meet or something, or we continue to interact, and every time I see your phone call, it's like you might steal my man away, or you might steal my wife away, and that's, and of course it's a lot of things, and because we don't have time to talk about that here, I think that we will talk about it another time. The other one is creating new traditions. Blended families may struggle to establish new family traditions that honor both sides while integrating everyone. This one, of course, we are also talking about it if especially the parents are co-parenting and the child is present in that spectrum. So it becomes very difficult to begin traditions that will incorporate everyone and make everyone feel comfortable so that at least the relationships work. And of course, those are dynamics that even you as adults need to sit down and probably sit down and converse and agree on. And sometimes it can be hard, it can be very hard. The other thing is social stigma. Blended families can face societal judgment or misunderstanding, which can add stress to the family dynamics. So addressing these issues requires patience, empathy, and open communication among all family members. Blended family can offer a variety of benefits, and we don't talk about the positive part. So these ones I won't go deep into it. I'll just like mention them very fast so that we have time also to discuss a few more things. So there's one, the diversity perspective. Blended family bring together different backgrounds and experiences, which is very enriching for a family discussion, and it can foster a broader worldwide world view if you pick it positively. If you decide to be negative, then again it won't be as interesting. But if you accept the diversity that comes with that particular kind of setup, then it can be a very good thing. The other thing is increased support. Just think about it. Now you have two moms or you have two dads. Amazing. That is even better because you get two supports. Now what you do either as a child or as a parent is like, okay, now I have more children, even step from, so what actually you need to do is be positive about it. Look at it as support and then learn how to integrate what is what. Don't look at the two fathers as competing figures. Look at them as people who are complementing one another. There's either a compliment or a discipline or a directive that you are given by one father, and instead of the other father acting as a hindrance to what the other father is saying, look at what both of them are saying and try and merge that support so that it can help you to become a better person, because that will mean that with more adults involved, children often benefit from additional emotional and practical support, which can enhance their development. So it is up to you as a child to decide, by the way, I have increased support. So me, what I usually say is like, oh my goodness, I have two fathers and I am amazed by it, because I'm like, hey, increased support, noma sana. The other thing is stronger relationships. Step parents can form meaningful bonds with their stepchildren, creating new relationships that can be just as strong as the biological ones. I agree with this 101%. I think I am more closer to my step-parent, my stepfather, than I am with my real biological father. Probably because he wasn't in my life, and also because my stepfather played a very big role, and I also was open to the idea of having a stepfather. That really also helped to make this bond even stronger. The other thing is learning conflict resolution. Blended families often require members to navigate conflicts and differences, teaching valuable skills in communication and compromise. So for you to be happy as a person, either as a step parent or as a stepchild, you need to be very quick with learning conflict resolution. Ndio manze nikienda ile pande ngori ya huko nisiletewe, nikienda ile pande ngori ya huko isikuje huku, so that you don't have to deal with so many things and life becomes peaceful. The other benefit is expanded family networks. Children gain additional family members such as step siblings, grandparents, which can enhance their sense of belonging and support. Agreed 101%, being a beneficiary of an extended family network. Role models. Step parents can serve as positive role models, providing children with different perspectives on life, relationships, and problem solving. I think that for me, my stepfather is more of a good role model because I learned a lot from him. My father, my biological father, was absent, is a drunk. He's not like, he's not past tense, he's alive. So he's a drunk. wasn't present, and again I didn't get any value from him, quote unquote, apart from the DNA. So my step dad was more of the role model, and he did a very good job. So that is also a benefit that you can get. Remember that it can work for your good. Like for me, I usually say that having a step parent worked for my good, because I got a better version. Sijui kama na make sense, because my biological father was just a mess. Okay, he's a mess on his own, and I'm not saying that he's a bad person. I'm just saying if he had raised me, probably I would be not as I wouldn't be who I am. I would have some flaws, because probably right now I'd be drinking and doing a lot of immorality, and I wouldn't have gotten the opportunities I got because my stepfather stepped in and paid the bills. Because when you have a drunk biological father, I don't think he would have gotten money to take me to a expensive school and pay for my uni and all those things. So yeah, there are benefits. And it also depends with the lens that you're looking at the relationship from. The other thing is resilience. Children in blended families often develop resilience and adaptability as they learn to navigate change and new family dynamics. This is a plus. Of course, because the family has changed, you learn to adapt. Sindo, self-explanatory. Other benefits is shared responsibilities, and this happens in the parenting bit, because parenting duties can be shared among more adults, which can alleviate stress and create a more balanced family environment. And remember, all this is only positive if it is looked at positively. As a mom, if I know that my child's father, for example, has maybe another wife, and we are not together, and whatever happened, but I am sure that as a mom, when I am there, I am dealing with 1, 2, 3 things, and when that child is there, I'm sure that the mother is also, now the stepmother is also handling something, and probably they are doing a good job at it. I am actually alleviated, because I'm like, amenipunguzia stress, because probably she's a good planner than I am, probably she's a good 1, 2, 3 than I am, and that is working because she's sorting that area. So instead of me being jealous and be like, I don't want you to see that person, or bad mouthing that step parent to the children, I would rather appreciate their input in the lives of my children. Okay, the other thing is new tradition and experiences. We have talked about this as a challenge, but it can also be a good thing if the blended family has the opportunity to create unique traditions and experiences that reflect their dynamic background. And I think the dynamic bit here is also if the step parents are probably from another ethnic community altogether, they have different practices, and then you're merging all this and you're just forming your own tradition with also the stepchildren that are involved. It's just amazing. So if you can get that, it's even better. The other thing is emotional growth. The challenge of blending families can lead to personal growth and emotional maturity for both children and adults as they learn to navigate complex relationships. These relationships, venye tu tumesema, they are too complex and they have their own majambos, and because you as a person either thriving there just requires you, manze, to be emotionally grown. So of course it offers that emotional growth for you to enjoy that marriage and to be there to love it and to thrive in that particular environment. So the benefits highlight the potential for these blended families to thrive and create long supportive environment, and that also depends on the people that are in that particular relationship. Sindio, yeah, so I want us to discuss how to maximize these benefits in your own blended family situation, because I know that there are people who are watching this that have blended families. So my question to you is, what can you take that will be positive for you, that you will take as a benefit for you to actually maximize having these children as your stepchildren, you having this parent as your step parent, and be happy and not every other time looking at them as if they came to kill and to steal and to destroy what your mother and father had built. Okay, yeah, so kindly let me know what you can embrace out of the things that we have mentioned, out of the 10 things we have mentioned. So I want us to talk about stereotypes, or unrealistic expectation and biases in real life that has been caused by a lot of things. Number one thing I will blame are movies, because Mimi, I remember when I was young, all the movies that we used to watch and we used to see how step parents are evil and how they are the cause of the divorce probably and the separation between your mother and father, especially if your parent who is being replaced is not dead. Okay, if they're alive, then you always tend to think that your step parent is the one who is responsible for that. What are some of those stereotypes? Number one, the evil stepmother or evil stepfather stereotype. And sometimes this can be portrayed that they are malicious. They are often perpetuated by fairy tales and the media, and leading to very unfair assumptions about their intentions. So most of the time it always looks like the stepmom, the stepfather came to kill, to steal, to kill, and to destroy. So even if they were married, for example, and they honestly love your father, and they had to unpack the fact that, by the way, loving your father meant that they are coming to also have you in their lives, you are there thinking, because it is a stereotype that you have, that they are just coming there to kill you, they are coming there to destroy your relationships, etc. The other stereotype that is there is that they have an inability to love. There is a belief that step-parents cannot love their stepchildren as much as biological parents do, which can create barriers to forming strong bonds. And I agree with that. And I started by telling you that I had an issue also with my stepdad, because I felt that that aspect of like, maybe he won't love me. And you see, when he was coming into the picture, he didn't have stepchildren. Okay, yeah, I didn't have step sisters and brothers. So when they came along, I felt like he was actually not loving me the way I needed to be loved. Okay, but you see, it's because already I felt the inability to love. I felt that he wasn't able to love me because I didn't belong to him. But when I opened myself up, I just learned that it was me who had an issue with him for no reason, and I was forever upset because he didn't maybe express things the way I wanted, and also because maybe there's a way I was used to and I had gotten familiar with, and when he's coming, he's not loving me that way. So you tend to think that because he's not loving you the way you're used to, then he doesn't love you altogether, but that's a lie. The other thing is interference in parenting. Step parents are often seen as intruders who overstep their boundaries or try to take control of parenting decisions, leading to tension with biological parents. This one I will not explain, but this is what I will say. I think that the biological parents, if you have decided to end your relationship, sometimes I know that probably you're leaving that relationship hurt and you don't want to meet with that person because you can't even stay in the same room because you haven't healed. The thing is, if you don't heal, especially soon enough, you have children who will be hurt in the process, and that is even worse because now these children will bleed on their children and they will continue the cycle. My advice would be, heal, talk about it. I know you are hurt, but then have that sit down with this person and discuss how you will co-parent, especially if this other person is starting to see someone else. You need to discuss how that other person who is coming in the picture can parent your children and what they can or cannot do, and the boundaries, have them set so that it is easier even for the child to flow. Then the last thing I would add also on that is also avoid, as a parent, telling your children how bad the other parent is or how bad their step parents are, because what you're doing, if you don't know, you think you're helping the child because you make them want to love you more than they will love that other parent and their step partner. But what you're doing is also you're making this child very emotionally unstable, and when you do that, you're not just affecting them. Yes, they will love you, they will tend to reclined to you and they're inclined to like you more, but the problem is you're doing a damage to them in the future. So why don't you think about it before you actually take them there? Yeah, and avoid bad mouthing either their dad or their mom in their absence, because that is not how as an adult you're supposed to behave. So please, for the sake of the children, grow up, deal with the issue, and then set those boundaries so that this child can have freedom, yeah, to be happy. It is not their fault. They did not ask to be given birth to, and because they are now here and the dynamics of the family is changing, please help these children, because they need to grow, they need to become mature, and they need to also understand what is going on. So have that sit down and discuss. The other thing is favoritism. The stereotype suggests that step-parents will favor their biological children over their stepchildren, which can create feelings of jealousy and resentment. This one, I think, is emphasized more on the movie that everyone has watched, Cinderella. And if you haven't watched, I don't know if I tell you go and watch, but I know all of us know the Cinderella story. And I know that there are actually step-parents who are that mean. But let's not conclude the story. That is a narrative that is one-sided. We have other parents that are nice, and I know that the movies will not do a movie concerning that one because that one won't sell, and it is what it is. But actually there are good parents. I am a believer, I'm a witness, living proof that there are good step parents. So lack of authority. Step-parents may be viewed as having less authority or legitimacy in the family, which can undermine their role and contribution. This one we are talking lack of authority in this case, because we don't have boundaries, and because the step-parents doesn't want to feel like they're overstepping, then they will have an issue with authority. Because I'm like, as a mom, I have come in as a mom, I feel like probably that other mother, the biological mother, is not doing their part, but I don't want to step in the shoes of that mother, because I will be told like I am overstepping, and because I don't want that, I am just here. So when the child is doing mistakes and all that, you're just there. They irritate you. You can see that this child is failing. You can see that they are actually going the wrong path, but you are not sure if you should correct them or how you should. And because at the end of the day, sometimes you correct them, and I know that there are those children that are bold enough to tell you, you are not my mother, you're not my father, unaniambia kanani, you know, and that also affects you as a step parent. So it's hard, eh? Okay. Conflict causes. Step parents are sometimes blamed for family conflicts or issues, even when they are not the root cause, leading to negative perceptions. We have talked about this, and I've said this. Sometimes children will tend to think that you're the cause why the mother and the father broke up. We have seen relationships where, and all these things sometimes are done in the movies, and even in real life they are very practical and they are very loud, because when they happen, people actually talk about it on social media. They're like, your father cheated on me with her, and then at the end of the day the relationship did not work, so we broke up, and then at the end of the day that woman now becomes your stepmother, and you know very well she was maybe the cause of why your mother and father broke up. Sinto, we have had that narrative, but there are others who are actually not the reason why that conflict was there. They just found that issues happened between your father and mother, and then in the process they loved your father, they loved your mother, and they are helping your mother or father heal, and in the process of helping them they actually realize they like each other, and then now they start dating. But because you heard that there was something that was an issue between your biological parents, you tend to think that the step parent is responsible. Let me surprise you, not all of them are responsible. So give them the benefit of doubt, or actually ask how they met and get to know, and then judge. So the other thing is temporary figures. There is a stereotype that step parents are not real parents and may be committed to the and may not be committed to the family long term, which can affect their relationship with stepchildren. So these stepchildren know that you are not their biological parent, and because your not real according to them, then they think that you will disappear at some point. So they don't want to invest, they don't want to commit, and they feel like you are also not committed to the relationship. So they will tend not to commit to you, to love you, or to do anything, because at the end of the day, they're like, oh, utaenda tu, and when you go and all that. So they don't want to invest. There's also another one of inexperience. Some may assume that step parents lack the skills or experience necessary to effectively parent, which can undermine their confidence and authority. And I feel like this inexperience, it happens even to biological parents, because we don't have experience. And as much as probably we have raised one child, you know, when this other child is coming, they might be more strong-willed than the first one. So of course you learn again, and you have to unlearn, relearn, you know, all these things, because it's a different child, different way of doing things. It happens. You might have the skill in terms of like when they are sick, you know what to do, but that still doesn't mean that there's anyone who is really experienced. Okay, so please, let's give our step parents the opportunity to love us. Okay, even if they are not even if they are not experienced, for example, because they are coming in with no children, and you feel like you as the other parent have experience, why don't you give them the benefit of doubt and walk them through the journey? Remember, whatever is happening is for the good of you as a step parent, because you get someone to offload for you as a biological parent, sorry, because you get someone to help you offload the stresses of raising these children you think are yours. And also, number two, it is for the benefit of your child, because your child now will get good parenting. So please be there, be present, and help that step parent. Okay, because at the end of the day, it's not like you will get back with their parent, with your ex-partner. Simuliachana before you akuje. Yeah, so if you know that there's no need of there's no way that you will end up together, then work together with whoever your ex-partner will bring to the table, because that is their decision, and your children needs to have the best. Sindio, I think that is clear. So I'm just going to talk about the biological parental role. The biological parent also plays a crucial role in this dynamic. If they don't support the step parent or create a united front, it can lead to misunderstanding and further animosity. And we know that because as a biological parent, when you're bringing in, for example, if it is me bringing in a stepfather, I need to show that we are united. That is why it is very important to have communicated prior, decided on discipline and all these other things, so that when I discipline or they discipline, as a mother, I am telling my children, you are disciplined because you did a mistake, instead of keeping quiet, and when they are beating your child, you're there also telling them, unamchapa wa nini, sio wako, wachana na yeye, don't beat my baby, that is not your baby, let's get yours and then you can beat yours, but this one don't beat. If you do that, especially in the presence of the children, and now they will know that this step parent is just being mean and unfair, which also will affect how they will relate with him in the future. So you also need to have that conversation. I want to ask you a question. We are 50 minutes in, and I just want to ask you, how do you think we can break this stigma? It started with a movie where we watched Cinderella being hurt, and we have seen other movies where they are coming in and the step parent is evil, and we have seen how people have been mistreated, and we have seen even in our social media and our news how that public negative stigma is there concerning step parents. And the problem is that the few that are so bad have outdone, and they have cost us not to talk about the positive ones. So the stigma has grown and it is real, and you find that even us who are getting into the relationships, we are afraid of dating men probably who are baby daddies, because we are like, no, we don't want to deal with that dynamic, because me, I don't want to deal with your baby mama and all these other things. And it is a very big struggle. We are finding a lot of very single people out here because they have children, and it is bad because the stigma causes even women who have given birth. For example, taking their children to their mothers, so their children are staying with their grandmother because they don't want the children to hinder them from getting married. And that is not how it is supposed to be. You need to be open, you need to be upfront about the fact that you have a child. Be very loud about it, because as children we need to be owned. Yeah, and we need to feel loved. And when the child is coming, when this person is coming into your life, you need to tell them that this is my baby and they're not going anywhere, we are staying here. And you actually cause unaleta watu pamoja. Yeah, let it be a thing. So how do we break this stigma? I think number one, be patient. Okay, understand that building trust takes time. Allow the relationship to develop naturally without rushing it. I think the problem with a lot of step parents, mukiingia kwa life yawa watoto, immediately you want to exercise authority. Because tumeongea about those ones that feel that they do not have authority. Now you have come into this child's life and you want to show them, I am your father, I am your mother. And because you want to show them that you are that person, you either become too harsh, you become too mean, and yet the children have not even gotten an opportunity to deal with the grief and the emotions that come with the fact that you are also in their lives. So be patient. I know it's not easy. Some children can be very mean, and also the parents can be, but I think we all need to be patient, both the children and the parent. Okay, be patient. Allow the relationship between you as step family just to work pole pole. Don't rush anything, but at the same time also go learning. Know what works for the children, know what works for the parent as a child, and then set boundaries that are very clear, and then be open to talk about it. I feel like it is also nice when someone just comes and tells you, by the way, you know what, I might not be, especially when you get married in a family where children are bigger. Sit them down, be like, I know I am not your mom. I am, however, married to your father, meaning I will be as your mom when we are in this house. You might not like either a few or so things that I do, but please be free to come and tell me and help me work together with you so that we can have a good relationship. Just talk to them, know what they like, nini, and all those things. Yani, be patient, and then let the relationship progress vizuri. The other thing is show genuine interest. When you're talking and having conversation with these children, do it because you want to know them, you want to know how they function. Probably there's a way they were being treated by their mom. You need to know. If their mom is dead, you need to act better than their mom, but not replace their mom. Okay, because you are acting on behalf of her. Don't try to outshine her. What you do is do your best, but also remind them that they have their mother, whether the mother is present or past tense. Please don't take the position of their mother. Okay, just be the stepmother. And I know that step parents get what I mean. Don't come all together and now you want to delete my mother. You don't want me to talk about her. You don't want me to talk about my father. No, let me talk about them. Let me even sometimes tell you stories. That is what we mean about showing genuine interest. Because by the way, that person meant a lot, meant the world to me. And then I don't have to stop talking about them because you have come. Even you sit down and listen to me tell you my silly stories about them and what we used to do. But then in the process, while they are telling you, then you as the parent pick those things that these children are telling you that make them have fun and emulate them, and maybe now begin fostering another bond with them. The other thing is participate in activities together. For example, so you find interest that both of you have and do together. I know that there are stepchildren who enjoy maybe playing games, watching movies, you know, going out for sports and every other thing. So if you can find something that bonds you as a step parent with your children and their interests that they have, you can do that together to foster the bond. And also it's another place where, apart from just discipline, that you guys can actually engage, and it's a nice way of having that conversation and building a bond. It is easier for them to trust you when they are let loose. Okay, The other thing is respect their feelings. We are going to talk about this 101%. I was younger, but I still had my feelings, okay? I might not have expressed them, I might not have told my mom, but I had feelings, and I think that I needed my feelings to be respected. But of course, because I was young then and I didn't know how to talk about it, it's something that I can now talk about it and say, by the way, my feelings needed to be respected, but they were not, because at the end of the day, people are saying, when I'm mtoto unisikize na unisikize, you know, don't do this, don't do that, don't do the other, you're a child, you need to listen to me. Please don't do that to your children, because what you do is, instead of helping them deal and cope with the issue, you're causing more mixed feelings, and then because they bottle all these things again, it becomes an issue for them, and it is hard even for them to relate with other people. So what you need to do is understand them, acknowledge their feelings, allow them to go through their feelings, but maturely help them navigate it. So be empathetic and give them that space to express their emotions. When they maybe cry, for example, if the parent is gone, yeah, he's dead, then give them time to mourn and be there presently, loving on them, and just, you know, allow them to express themselves. When they say they miss their mom and all that, don't beat them and be like, no, una miss wanini na alikufa, you know. Yeah, so be empathetic, allow them to just go through the process. If the mom is an absent mother or an absent father, also allow them to say that, by then I miss my dad, I miss him, I miss the days he used to come. Unajua, such things. If he was violent and the child is like, maybe hata anamiss hiyo kelele, you know, children are funny. They will just say, they will the most random and weird things. Don't be like quickly cutting them off and shunning them. Support them, sindo, and allow them to grow. And then whatever it is probably they are going through that is not positive, then now help them navigate it and overcome it, so that they also, you are not there empathizing with them and causing them to even be worse. Yeah, so you're helping them overcome and understand their feelings and grow. The other thing is establish boundaries. Work with your partner to set clear boundaries and expectations for discipline and parenting roles. Consistency can help create a sense of security. The other thing is be a good listener. Good listening means that you hear what I am saying, you respond appropriately, and you answer appropriately. Don't just sit down and listen and be like, but you are not responding. For example, if I was talking about how I need us to go somewhere, and then you say, and then that ends. No, be a good listener to a point that even after we have had a conversation, you will actually act on some of the things that I am expressing, okay? So how do you become a good listener? You show that you value their thoughts and feelings by actively listening when they speak. This helps them feel heard and respected. And then of course, apart from that, you can also respond according to how the child has been expressing themselves, and then help them as well. So create family traditions. We have talked about these traditions are very important, which gives the family a sense of belonging and unity, and you need to do that, of course. So create family traditions that are now new, depending on the blended family that now you have. Avoid comparisons. Restrain from comparing your stepchildren to your biological children if applicable, or to others. Each child is unique and should be appreciated for who they are. Very self-explanatory. Wacheni kutukompare. Wacheni kukompare venye mimi nililelewa na venye wewe unalea wako. Mimi nililelewa venye nililelewa. So that is how it is. Wewe umekuja ukapata wako, lea wako venye unataka. But don't compare us. We are different, we are unique. What you need to do is probably check, depending na venye nimelelewa, what can you help me become better with, instead of comparing me with your children. That really is a turn off, especially for a child who is a stepchild. We hate being compared. I am speaking for the masses. The other thing is communicate openly. Encourage open communication with the family. Let your stepchildren know they can talk to you about anything without fear of judgment. Sindo, that one we have also talked about it. As much as you're listening keenly, you're a good listener, also communicating openly. That also helps me to know that, by the way, if the communication is open, I can be free to come and talk to you about anything, including my biological parent that you have replaced, and you don't have to also come and also compare yourself with them. Just listen and allow me to speak, okay? Yeah, thank you. Be supportive, celebrate their achievements no matter how small, and be there for them during tough times. Your support can help strengthen your bond. We are talking about support in this way. This child needs all the support they can get. If they are doing good things, please celebrate them even if they are not your own, and then allow them to just keep on winning. And when they win, don't be jealous at it because your children are not doing it. Celebrate your stepchildren and allow them to grow and prosper. Remember, these stepchildren are still your children. I'm so saddened by step parents who are jealous and they try to hinder the growth of their stepchildren. What you don't know is, if you foster a good relationship with your stepchildren, imagine they will love you and they will appreciate you because you stood in the gap where they feel like the parent wasn't doing a good job and you're doing it. When they are older, we will always appreciate, we will always acknowledge, and of course, if they are successful, they will come and pour back because they know that you sacrificed, you loved them, and you did far above and beyond probably what you were supposed to do. So it's not like they will forget you and then go and give that love to their biological parent that you have replaced. And if they do that, there is still what will be poured to you because you played a very good role. But when you're mean, when you are all the wrong things that you are, then when I grow up and I am successful, I will not come to appreciate even the little things you did that were good because the bad overwhelms the good. The other thing is, lead by example. Model positive behavior in relationship. Show kindness, respect, understanding in your interactions with others. Of course, that is what the children are learning, and because you're coming in as a role model, you need to show kindness, respect, and understanding to others. Can we be truthful? Children do not learn by hearing, they learn by seeing. If you show kindness, if you show respect, if you are understanding in your interaction with other people, that is what they are learning, and that is how they will emulate that, and that is how they grow and they learn from you. So you need to lead by example and be a very good step parent for that. The other thing is, involve them in discussions. Just because they are little doesn't mean that they don't have an opinion, and you need to involve them, especially if they are step parents, their stepchildren. Imagine this child is struggling with allowing you in their life. Remember, they feel like you're replacing their mother. You are coming to take the place their mother used to do. So they feel like already they are not okay with your position. And then to make matters worse, now you have come in, you're the one making decisions and you're not consulting me, and yet there is something I need to say. Even if I will say nothing or whatever I will say and then you convince me otherwise and we end up doing what you wanted, at least I feel involved in the conversation. You know, because they are children, you can cheat them up on ndani. So what they want to feel is just valued and heard. You know, they want to feel like they've been heard. And this also helps you as a step parent to have a upper hand when you're dealing with this child. Kumbuka, the more unamtreat vizuri, the more unamkalisha hapo chini, unamuza na wewe baba unafikiria aje. As much as they are not your own, they feel like, you value how I feel, you value my feelings, and then they open up to you. So unapata hiyo blockage yenye alikuwa ameweka inakatika, and that is a very good, amazing thing. I have a step parent. I love my father. Amazing. He stopped being even a stepfather. I think the people who call him stepfather now are who is me when I am trying to tell people I have a step parent, and probably someone who is jealous somewhere, I don't know. I have loved him. I loved the children that they bore with my mom. They are my sisters. There's nothing step about them. Yani, me, I'm just a complete happy girl, because there are dynamics that worked for me that I really, really appreciate and thank God for. So you as a step parent, you are coming in this child's life. Please be a good model. Be a person that this child will sit down and say, I thank God that this person, this man, this woman came into my life. Don't come guns blazing at, yeah, now you want to prove a point. Now you want to show me how my father was a bad father because he did not discipline me, so you want to be beating me every now and then. You know, I might make mistakes, and beating is good, but hey, kwani ni World War 3? You just come, be humble, chill out bana, watch me do my thing and make mistakes, and then learn how to counsel and to lead me the right way without really coming in gun blazing. I know that even some children are coming from that place of they were a mistake. They just came and then the relationship happened, it ended, and then they are there, and you, sometimes even you as the biological parent don't want to have the child in your life. But you know, there are things that we need to deal with. We have talked about how this thing is so difficult for everyone, including that child. And you don't have to think about yourself only. Think about your children, because they are also a part of that family. They are a part of your existence. You know, when you're being called, they are called behind you because they are part of you, whether you like it or not. So whether they are coming from someone who you love or you hate, children are yours. So forget whoever you hate, nurture your children right. So if as a step parent you are marrying someone who has children, remember these children are human beings. They are not bad children. Even if their parents, their biological parents are bad, they are not bad. They are just maybe lacking guidance. They are lacking maybe proper discipline and proper parenting, but children are not bad. Okay, so I don't know what is safe to say, but what I can say is that I have enjoyed having a step parent, and I think step parents can be amazing human beings. I think that I personally have experienced the good side of step parents. There is another one who is watching this video who has gone through hell from a step parent. I know sometimes it is, number one, we as children, we are at fault because we didn't know how to deal with the interactions, probably especially when it is a male child and then they have a stepfather. Sana sana naonanga hiyo conversation ikiwa tricky because the child who is a male wants to exercise their authority. They want to show these step parents that they are not children and they are still men as much as they are young. They want to act like they are macho, unajua. And then this man is coming in as a father and he wants also to stamp his authority, so he's very hard on probably the male child and all these dynamics. So inakuwa tricky sana, and I know that some of you have been hurt by step parents. I just want to take this opportunity and say I am so sorry. They did not know any better. If they did, they would have raised you well. I know that sometimes they are doing it out of jealousy and hatred, but I think even you as a child, you need to open yourself up to love them, to appreciate them, even if they are not 100% amazing, even if they are not 100% good. There is something that they do, if you look very well, that you will see that they have tried. Appreciate them for that, because they did have a very good impact in your life. Video is gonna be amazing, and I just want to say thank you. Just getting here 1 hour later and still watching, man, you guys are amazing. I hope this video will be instrumental to you. It will be helpful to you, and it will help you in one way or the other, especially if you are a step parent, on how to nurture your stepchildren, and if you are a stepchild, how to accept and embrace the step parent. And then even if there is what already has transpired that is not good, that probably you're doing badly, then both of us, let's give each other grace. The children to give grace to the step parent, and the step parent to give grace to the stepchildren, so that we can have an understanding here in between. The honest truth is that the step parent did not expect to be your step-parent, and the stepchildren did not expect to be your stepchildren. It just happened the way it happened. Life happened, and now both of you are there in that situation. So don't be so hard on them. They are also dealing with the situation the same way probably you are, and because they are children, as the step-parents, please, let's even be more understanding than they would, because they are children. They are still navigating their emotions. Help them. Even while you yourself, you're dealing with the entire mess, please help them navigate through it. Sindo. And love them unconditionally, and love them equally as you would have loved your own children, because they sense, they see, they feel, and they can actually sense when you are loving your children more than them. When you have the preferential treatment, they can see, they can tell. So you don't think that because they are children they cannot. They actually tell, and that is why they become so stubborn. That is why they will give you a hard time, because they are trying to fight for themselves. And when you see that happen, just know that you're not doing a good job. Even if you are probably were doing it and you didn't know, now you know. So work on it and help each other to become better. I love you guys, I really do. I thank you because you've stayed for this long. This video needs to help us, okay? And then if you think that there's someone who can learn from it, help me share to them so that they can come and learn. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Bye. See you on the next one. Bye.